Hey there, welcome back to Angry Bird. It's the 22nd. So there's protests every single Saturday here in Easton at the Tesla dealership, and that's just freaking glorious. It's nice to see. It's nice to be out there. I'm sorry I don't have videos. Sorry I don't have clips. I had work. I got to drive by. I got to see some protests. Um, I just couldn't get around it. So I apologize. I meant to be there, and I intend to be there every single Saturday. Um, and now that I know they're there for sure, it's going to be just a routine now. So today I just want to talk about trusting the plan versus seeking to understand something. All right. So sometimes in life, you don't have enough tools. You just don't, and you have to trust a plan because you're the rookie, man. You're the beginner, and you don't understand why it works, how it works, and sometimes other people don't have time to explain it to you. All right. So, like when you start out at a job, for instance, and they have all these systems that they've been using for years and years and years and years and years, you're the rookie, right? You're in there. You're not going to be able to really question what they're doing. You got to try to figure it out. They're kind of like pulling you along, right? So you're in there kind of trusting the plan. When you're brand new somewhere and they're paying you to be there, and that's that environment, man, where you kind of just have to trust it. Then after you've paid your dues, after you've put in the work, after you've followed the system long enough, you could start critiquing the system. And then they allow that, then they start listening to you, right? When you're brand new, they don't listen to you. They want you to learn it, learn the system. So when you start out in a work environment, trusting the plan is kind of like normal, to be honest. You want to trust their system. What's another way people trust the plan? All right. Faith. There's 3,000, I think, different religions over the course of human history, I guess. And they all believe in something, right? They all believe in some entity. And people of faith believe that they don't really have control. They don't, man. Someone else is really guiding and pulling all the strings and all that, right? So they trust the plan because they have no control over the plan anyway. They just kind of roll with the punches. That's trusting the plan. So you get to a point where, if you're new to a workplace, you probably got to trust the plan as you learn, right? Just so you can get in, learn their systems that they've all been doing for a long ass time, So you can't really go in there and bump the system until you learn the system. Then you can bump it. A faith-driven plan is you don't really have control over anything. It's God's plan. It's your entity's plan. You're just a sheep in the vast sea of sheep, and you're supposed to just like trust it. It's all happening for a reason. Everything's happening for a reason. Just trust it, right? There's another type though. This is a type that's the kind of like the scariest type, to be honest, because you could believe in a faith and still have common sense. You can. You can believe in God and you could follow a faith and you could, teach the teachings of Jesus, for instance, and you could still be a reasonable person and make reasonable decisions in life and still be really, really epically smart. And I'm not trying to say people that follow faith are not or are. I'm just trying to give an example. So please don't put words in my mouth. So you trust a plan, and it's faith driven. You kind of just tend to fall in line with whatever you're told, and you just kind of believe in it, right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying there. But the worst kind is when you get convinced you could never understand it, and you accept it as a person, which is fucking crazy to me. I believe it's crazy to me that you accept that you could never understand, and then you put your faith in that person to do your best interests for you. Okay? So that's the worst one, because that's the manipulate. That's when they manipulate you. You know, they manipulate you into being basically a useful idiot for them. You know, the best example I could give is when they get out there and they get a person on TV telling you, the audience, that these people are crazy smart, and instead of explaining to you why they are in terms that make them smart, they point to a money pile, you know, as the guidance. These people are so smart, they're playing chess on all levels. Look at all the money they have, is their reasoning for you. And when you look at that and you equate money to smarts, and then they convince you, they manipulate you down. They say you would never understand it if we tried to explain it. So you just have to trust us. Those are the worst ones. If you trust the plan on that is the worst fucking kind of plan trusting you could ever get into. Because two things have occurred. One is you've bowed to someone else when they told you could never understand. And I want you to think about that concept, you know, like we're talking MAGA here. We're talking priests and pastors that radicalize others here. We're not talking about normal blokes trying to protect their flock and guide them to the light, man. We're talking about people radicalizing people. Okay? So that's where we get really off the charts dangerous. And the counter always to trusting a plan, the opposite is seeking to understand something. Seeking to understand takes time. It takes energy. It takes effort. You could try to seek to understand something, and you could spend a long time on it and still never understand it. It's a gamble. It really is a gamble. If you don't have the tools in your bag when you go into a subject, you could spend a lot of time in that subject and never get to the understanding of it. And people that don't understand something could fall trap to someone else just saying, hey, you're just going to have to trust me on this one then. You know, I've always put myself in that position where I always want to understand what's going on first. I don't. Even when I try to understand everything all the time, I don't get them all right. But when I get them wrong, you just own it. You're a human being. You own your mistakes. Got that one wrong, man. Whoa, I didn't have all the information yet. Because that's the key. When you get it wrong, it's supposed to be because I did not have all the information. It's not supposed to be, I got one wrong because I trusted somebody. I got one wrong because, you know, they told me I was stupid and I believed it. You know, when you're in a work environment, and I can equate what these two jackasses are doing, Elon and Trump, I can equate to it because I've worked in corporate work environments, man. These guys feel CEO. These guys feel private equity CEO. I got two fucks to give about anybody and everybody except next month's money and if we're getting more or not. That's how it feels with these guys. And instead of them telling me, hey, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to make it great, they're not, man. They just keep selling, we're smarter than you, shut up and trust us. That's what they keep saying. And every time they do, I feel like they're calling me stupid. And I don't know why, you know, when I see other walks of life in America not call, you know, when they say that, I get offended and other people are cheering. And I look at the people cheering and I just go, why are you cheering, man? They literally just said you're stupid.
Because those people are not seeking to understand nothing. They're trusting the plan. So, what happened to some farmers that trusted the plan? What happened to some people that voted for Trump that trusted the plan and their wives are missing? If you don't know, there's wives that got detained. They're immigrants. Real shit. Real world consequences. I trusted the plan. I didn't seek to understand the plan. I didn't try to understand it. I trusted the plan. My wife's gone. My farm's gone bankrupt. Vets are getting hosed. Medicaid's in their bill, hidden, and they tried to squeak it by. And it's at the Senate. Is it going to pass? Will it ever? Doubt it, but it's there. It could. Trust in the plan. He's going to make it great. By what? Wiping his ass with the Constitution that your fucking grandparents fought and died for? Is that what's making it great? Your great-great-grandparents' sacrifices and all the people that ever sacrificed before you for this guy and Elon to go into that White House, start wiping their asses with your Constitution? You see, trust in the plan, that's what happens. If you seek to understand shit, you won't attack other people. You just won't. You would first try to understand and then determine, is this life and death? Do I need to go after these people or not? What's going on here? That's why people radicalized don't understand empathy at all. They don't understand empathetic people. What do you think happens when empathetic people realize they're at gunpoint? What do you think is going to happen? People that seek to understand shit know when they're being hoodwinked. And if they don't, they find out fast. They really do. They just find out real fast. Because they're keeping their eyes on the information. They're keeping their eyes on trying to understand what's going on. They're keeping their eyes on things. When you wing it and you're in the USA and we're at a point where 60% of us can't face a $500 emergency next month or something, and you're just fucking winging it still, you're the trust the plan person. You're the one fucking it all up for everybody. You really are. You're fucking it up. You're believing whatever the fuck feels right today. That's what trusting the plan really fucking is. I don't know if you could recognize it really. But trusting the plan means, you know what? It really feels good today to do it this way, so I'm going to just fuck it. I'm going to do it this way. Yeah, I'm going to do it this way today. Fuck it. I mean, whatever. Everybody else doing it. Trusting the plan sucks, man. Especially when you find out. Especially when you fucking find out. So, we need to be in a world where we're trying to understand shit, man. Where we're not trying to only find out what a couple people think about shit on the internet, and based on that, they do the polls in a hate group, and based on the poll of the hate group, we're going to make decisions now on the government. Because that's what we're fucking doing. Trusting the plan. If you're a guy like me, you spend all these years and years and years and years and years and years and years trying to understand other things. And you feel so stupid, right? I feel stupid in this world. I feel so undereducated, it's mind-boggling. And yet, in this same world, compared to peers, I feel like there's levels of difference. Not in intelligence level. No, not at all. But in effort. In effort to trying to fucking understand. You see, smart people, even the smartest of the smartest of the smartest, the people in your life that you've been looking up to your whole life, your parents, your grandparents, uncles, aunts, anybody, could be the smartest of the smartest. But if they don't put in the work, what's that get you? What does that get you? You see, there's people out there saying right now, lift yourself up by the bootstraps. Well, that's what I'm fucking telling to you, man. That's what I'm going to tell you then. Because we're in a world where we're pretending that we already got boots of knowledge on and they've been laced up properly. Boots of knowledge, proper laces, all facts-driven laces, right? And we pretend that. I'm telling you right now, you need to kick those fucking shoes off. Kick them off completely and start seeking to understand and lace your fucking boots up, man. Lace them up proper this time with the right tools and the right understanding, and admit your shortcomings because you're going to have them. We all have them. You know, if I wanted to say a shortcoming of myself, to just throw one out there, I got the patience of a fucking charging rhinoceros, man. I just do. I flip in a second. I'm bipolar. I flip in a second. And so my weakness is I never know what's coming out of your mouth, and I never know how I'm going to react. And it really is a weakness because a guy across from me telling me they're eating up cats and dogs, I would likely knock them the fuck out. I really would. I would feel like obligated to protect these other people from this fucking guy. You know, that's me. My weakness. I will overreact in defense of somebody. You know, what's yours? What's your weakness? We all have many. That ain't my only one. That's just one of them. But I know it's there because I can look through my life and I can see moment after moment after moment after moment where that has occurred. And so it's a behavior almost like a goddamn instinct of mine. An out of control instinct for some fucking reason. Many people have asked me over my life. You know, I've always been preaching logic, preaching, you know, to people to look at things different, look at it from this angle, that angle, whatever. And there's been people in my life, man, you should run. You should be a politician. You should be. And I always tell them, that's a different type of world, man. It's a different type of world. Because in an environment of work, when people misbehave, they get thrown out of the work environment. And you never have to see them again. Political arena is totally different, man. You see them every day. And they say the same shit to you every day. And they're this type of, I mean, who wants to be around that, you know? When you think about it. And then how do you react? How do you adult in that situation? Really, I mean, you just let them be children in front of you. Let them act like children. And then you take the microphone and try to be the adult behind that child. You see what I'm getting at? It's like, it's a weird thing to want to do. And I know I can't control myself. So that's why, you know, there's people that wonder. I have weaknesses, man. We all do. Do you seek to understand your own weakness? You know, I have little patience for people that start arguing with me based on faith. Because the argument always goes back into the coin toss. Where, yeah, you know, could lead you to God, lead you to a punch of Kool-Aid. Which one is it this time? You know, so there's a people that use faith as an argument. I can't get into those arguments, man. Because that's a guess. If you want to guess it, shit, go ahead, you know. Just don't guess with me. Go guess with people that like guessing. I like to seek to understand, man. I really do. That's why I understand the trans community. That's why I understand DEI should fucking exist. But I also understand why white, poor, uneducated people hate it to the bone and core. I understand both. I understand why we have to protect immigrants. Why that person that walked thousands of miles has more heart more energy, more desire to participate in something that's good than a bloke getting tax cuts, man, wanting more. You see that? You got to see it, man. See, people equate rich to greatness. It ain't great, man. It's thief. It's theft. Greatness comes from helping others. Real help. Not accumulating money, storing it in a fucking piggy bank and going, look at me, look at me, look at me, I got more than everybody. That ain't greatness, man. Greatness is doing shit, man. Doing shit for others. Growing the world. That's greatness. Coming up with things. Creating art, creating music. That's greatness, man. Writing a book is greatness. Because you contributed to the music of life. And you left your mark. When you're long gone, your mark will be here. That's what's great. That's what is greatness. You know. At any rate, it's just a thought. It's a long video again. I'd rant. I try to get people to see that there's other things to look at in life. It ain't just what you see on the news. It ain't just what you hear on the radio. People have lived lifetimes before you. You showing up in this world, all you got's Trump, echo chamber, and Andrew Tate's and Steve Bannon's. I mean, what chance do you have to get filtered through all that and get to where I'm at? What chance? I'm trying to give people a chance to see it. Anyway, love y'all. Just a thought. Hope y'all with me.